Hi, how are you?
Fine, how are you?
So what's your name?
Ron-Gault.
Charlayne Hunter-Gault.
Okay, great. So, I'm getting to know this.
All right.
So, tell me, how did you come about making wine?
Well, it's a very simple story. We turned an emotional experience into a commercial venture, hopefully a successful commercial venture.
But the point was that we were living in South Africa, where there is a lot of really good wine. And after enjoying it for a number of years while we lived there for almost 17 years, my husband made a very elegant brand of wine with some other South African men called Epicurean. And I thought that was a little pretentious, and they loved the name. So I said, okay. He said, well, you don't have to be worried about it. We can make our own. At which point we had drank enough and knew enough about the business so that we did, in fact, start our own about 7 years ago. And we called it Passages so that it could reflect our passages through life. In fact, I wrote this to say that our passages through life have been often serendipitous, many times sweet, and always soul satisfying. We have drunk from the waters and the wines of the world, settling in South Africa, where its people have enhanced our taste for all things good. Our wine Passages speaks to our embrace of new people, places, and things, and our desire to share the joy of our ongoing journey to the horizons.
I like that.
Yes.
That was some thought.
That's it.
That was some thought.
Yeah.
So, when you got into making wine, was this something you like, oh my God, what are we doing?
No,
Never.
not at all. As Charlayne said, we had a number of social friends who enjoyed the same things that we enjoyed, including wine. And so once that experience took place, we were able to build on it. And after 7, 8, 9, 10 years, we perfected it to the point that we understand what the U.S. palate is. It's very different than the European palate, very different than the African palate. And what we try to do in the 4 varietals that we make is to try to hit that on the mark. And some of it's trial and error, but now I think the experience has been large enough for us to feel very comfortable with the 4 varietals that we make.
Fantastic. So, where you guys located? Is all
Well,
there in Africa?
No. We moved back from Africa about 18 months ago. 17 years was really enough. And my math might be a little off on that. We actually came back at the end of 2012, so it's a little longer than 18 months. But at any rate, we live in Sarasota, Florida. That's our primary residence. We have a home in Martha's Vineyard where we spend the summers. And then we have a residence here in New York City that we spend very little time in.
But one of the reasons that we decided to come back to America is our children are here. Our daughter is an artist, our son is an actor, and our families are all here. So while we have great friends that we maintain contacts with, they come to visit us either on the vineyard or in Sarasota. So we maintain our friendships through email, sometimes through visitation. So South Africa is really like our second home, but this is our first home, and this is why we came back. We're not getting any younger, although we still have a lot of energy for making wine and making new friends.
As long as that mind can keep going, eh?
That's right. They say engagement in the world inhibits aging.
There you go. So what are some of the different wines that you guys make? There's
We do a wonderful Chardonnay,
Which I created.
which my wife takes a lot of pride in. I mean, it's really pitched to the U.S. palate. Initially, the Chardonnay that we made was much too stringent. You know, all white wine needs acid to give it balance and structure. But our first attempt was really the feedback of the acid was too strong. So this Chardonnay tends to be more citrus flavors, more citrus fruit flavors, and it's much more carefully balanced so that the finish is very smooth with very limited acidic feedback.
And the Pinotage is unique to South Africa. It's a wonderful light red wine, which you can also chill a little bit. Most red wine you don't chill. And you don't have to chill this either, but you can do either or. And it's a delicious wine that's made, Ron.
Well, you know, the thing is when we say it's light, you know, everything is relative. It's light compared to a cab, but it's somewhat heavier than a Pinot Noir. In fact, the Pinotage is a creation of a fusion of a Pinot Noir and a Hermitage seed, which they started experimenting with this in 1925. So it's not a Johnny-come-lately varietal.
But we weren't around then.
Oh, really? Don't tell on yourself now.
Right.
At any rate, that's the Pinotage. They try it in the Pacific Northwest and they try it in Brazil, but I think we really have hit it. The next one is the Cab Merlot blend.
No, it's the Merlot.
Which did I say the Cab Merlot blend already?
No,
I haven't.
just
Okay.
do the Merlot.
Okay, the Cab Merlot blend. Thank you, wife. Very much. The Cab Merlot blend is 92% Cab, 8% Merlot. It's been aged in small French oak barrels for 24 months.
Okay.
And then finally, the Merlot, which we call our sassy red. It goes well with barbecue and braais and whatnot.
Okay.
Those are the 4 varietals.
And one of the things that we love doing is something called Talk and Taste. We both still maintain our contacts. It's with South Africa, with its politics, its social, economic situation.
Yes.
So we will have an event where I talk for 5 or 6 minutes about all those different layers of South African experience and the moment. It's 22 years in its new democracy. I went there when it first became a multiracial democracy. I got to know Nelson Mandela very well. We both did. And then I talked for 5 minutes about that. And then Ron, I turn it over and he talks 5 minutes about the wine. And then we have the tasting and questions from people who are interested in knowing more details about it. So it's just been, as he says, it's an economic experience, but I think it's as much an emotional experience as an economic experience because we love what we do.
The money will come.
If it doesn't, it'd be nice if it does, but we're enjoying what we do.
Yeah. So which website?
It's called PassagesWines with an S.net.
Okay, I want to say thank you for being on the show. I really appreciate that.
Thank you. We appreciate you being interested.
Thank you. All right.